morning, good afternoon, good evening, PA folks. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Vitamin Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Can't believe it, folks. Tomorrow will be the 4th of July. God bless America. Whatever I mean. Well, my history of my family, we've been here for a long time, and they didn't do much for us. But it's a celebration of the independence of the United States. But I hope you enjoy this weekend. We also got some shows coming up. We have the Universe, which is a amateur pro qualifier, and also we have the upcoming weekend is the Portugal Pro. So I will talk about those shows later on during the week. So, folks, I have a picture of this lady here, and she competes in wellness. I've been I've been wanting to get my hands on some of y'all girls. I know a couple ladies who compete in wellness and eventually, exchange from other divisions to wellness, but a couple went back. But she is a wellness pro. She is also the 2023 Nationals overall champion. And she just made her pro debut at the New York Pro. She did an interview with my man KL the Wanderer. If you want to watch the interview, I will leave the link in the description. You can check it out and follow her. We have the lovely Mrs. Sumaiya Sarwar. And if I got a name wrong, I want to apologize. So
hi everyone, nice to meet you.
All right. She looks so cute. She party too, folks. She really party. So we welcome her and we appreciate for her time. So, ma'am, tell us your story. What got you started, as I call it, a sport of muscle and masculinity? Please share.
So I have been working out since I was 6 years old. I was obese as a child. And it started out more like just working out outside with my mom, body weight, jumping jacks, little things here and there. And as a teen, I got into yoga. When I came to America and I started going to high school here, that's when I started lifting weights. I kind of continued it over the years in my 20s, but not till like later on is when I decided to get into bodybuilding. So 2018 was when I did my very first bodybuilding competition. I did 2 shows in women's figure, took some time off. When wellness division was introduced, I decided to switch over. And now here we are, all these years later.
It's a story. And you said you're from another country. What country is that? And how long have you been in the U.S.?
I was born and raised in Bangladesh. I came here in 2005. So almost 20 years now that I'm here.
Bangladesh. That's where we fall. That's right around in the South Pacific, right around India, I think it is, or
Mhm.
close to Cambodia. I'm not that good with
Yeah.
geography, but yeah, I know it's within that area.
Yeah, it's Southeast Asia. So it's next to India.
All
India
right.
and like Burma or Myanmar, Pakistan, all those are like
Yeah.
close neighbor countries.
Yeah, Pakistan and India right now, just but I'm not getting to that. But it's surprisingly, I mean, you wouldn't think, especially a country like that, where there are a lot of women come out of there. Like I'm talking to some ladies who from the around Asia. Like I know ladies she's from Thailand, lady from Singapore, but I just recently saw a couple of young ladies get their pro cards from India, and one just
Mhm.
made her pro debut at Spain. Is there a very traditional idea about women and sports and bodybuilding?
So before I even answer any of those questions in regards to like let's say the culture or the country, I just want to be transparent that I have been here since I was 15 years old. So my perception mostly comes from what I knew as a child and as a teenager up to age 15. I have been back to the country in the last 20 years. My whole family's here, and I don't have much connection to the politics or how things have changed. And things change in 20 years. So I wouldn't know how everything is now. But when I was growing up, that wasn't really a thing. I only got put into diet and working out because I was obese.
I can understand you. I can feel you. I think it's one thing, especially young girls, how they're treated because if they're just a little chunky, say, baby, you just cut back on your food or try and starve yourself. That's one thing a lot of ladies who I know who do about a bit we're dealing with, issues with abuse of food, or also how bulimia, anorexia has affected their
Mhm.
lives. So now, what was the first show that you got into? And that was originally Figure. What was that experience like for you as a competitor?
Honestly, the first show experience in 2018 wasn't the best. I didn't really know anything. I just decided I wanted to do a show. So I started working with someone who wasn't really a coach per se, who was a trainer for lifestyle clients, but didn't really know much about bodybuilding and peaking. And I prepped with that person for 10 years. And when I'm 6 weeks out, I'm like, I am not really looking how I think I should be looking. So this girl, Caroline, who is no longer competing, she was a bikini competitor, reached out to me on social media. I ended up working with her coach, David Halliburton from God's Plan Fitness. Amazing coach. In 6 weeks, he's shaped me up and I got on the stage, but it was more like a damage control because I wasn't on track. And my very first show was Eastern USA Championship in 2018. That's a big show on Northeast. So it was a little bit scary, but I'm the kind of person, like, if I make a promise, I'm going to do something, I make sure that I do everything I possibly can to keep that promise, unless it's like absolutely not doable. So the experience wasn't the best, but I'm glad I did it and got my feet wet.
Yeah. So you are, as I would say, you are a woman of your word. Oh, yeah. That's You gotta respect that, because you know what? It's tough, especially in the sport of bodybuilding. The conversation I have with ladies, the training, the process, and also with women. I think the one thing you have to understand how a woman's body works compared to a man. Guys, like we can build muscle a lot faster because we have natural testosterone. Women, y'all don't. And switching divisions, from figure to wellness. What was the critique from the judges originally?
You mean why I switched from figure to wellness?
Hmm.
Honestly, when I started out, there was no wellness division. I think if it was around, I would have went for wellness instead of figure. I love the figure division, and a lot of women looks beautiful competing in that division. I just personally did not feel like that was the aesthetic I wanted for myself.
Hmm. That's
That
understandable
was
because
one of the main reason.
we look at the wellness division, it fits the women who have those. As this is how I said it, the strong Afro aesthetics, bigger hips, thicker thighs, a little bit more bottom heavy that can grow the muscle.
Mhm.
With figure, it's more for those women who have more of that. Well, how physique's supposed to be, that more athletically lean look. You have to have that nice wide shoulders, the caps. You have that, how somebody say to me, that upside down Dorito look. It works for those. I think it works. Like one lady told me that it works with your body type, because you're
Mhm.
not very. As I saw you interview with Kaya, you're not very tall.
Me, I'm 4'11".
So you're the same height as one of my favorite bodybuilders. That's Michaela Aycock. She's 4'11", and she's just her. If you've ever seen her, her condition is crazy.
I mean, they do have like figure competitors that are not extremely tall. I believe Sid Gillian, the Olympia champion, she's not extremely tall, even though she was like the queen of figure. But for me, once I started like powerlifting, or I would say lifting heavy and taking the gym seriously, my quads grew a lot. And I kind of, that became my thing. So wellness seemed to be a better fit for me rather than trying to bring down the quads and bring up the shoulders more.
Yeah, I think everybody try to find that one division that works for them. Sig, that is I would say, the gold standard for figure. She's retired. Uh, I want to get your thoughts on this. Now, if recently Missy Trescott is moving over. She's going to make her debut in next month at the Tupelo, and you be a coach, you're a coach and a trainer yourself. Um, who do you think has the more better shot from what you've seen physique wise, like between Missy, Jessica, and Lola?
Honestly, I prefer not to make comments when it comes to things like this. I'm a novice. I'm just starting out. I literally just did my pro debut. I don't know a lot. I'm still learning, especially when it comes to athletes of that caliber. I'm observing, I'm learning, I'm a student. So I no comment.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. You know, like I always want to get everybody's opinion thought, but
Yeah.
but
I'm
you
not
know,
a very opinionative person when it comes to
wh-
other people.
where with me, I can't help I'm a Scorpio. We have a certain personality, you know, that in me. So now that you're now a pro and you earn your card at the Nationals, what was that feeling? You know, because you got to think about it. You had to go against all these other women, take this shot. What was that feeling when they told you, you're now IFBB pro?
I knew I was going to win my pro card in that show.
Confidence, confidence.
Goal was to get the overall. That's what I went for. So for me, that moment was when they announced I won the overall.
Oh.
But believe it or not, I actually had a speech written down and I used to practice it every day for the last few weeks that I would give when they interview me after winning the overall.
Well, you know what? You want to recite the speech? You still remember it?
I don't remember it. It's been like 2 years, but I'm sure it's like written down in one of my diaries that I used to read every morning. Kind of visualize myself winning that overall, what it would feel like. And it was that and more. It was really amazing. But the high doesn't last because for goal driven people like us, like you win something, you enjoy it a little bit, and then what's next? What are we going to do next? And
Yeah.
get back on track of winning another thing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about the bodybuilding process. It's a process. As you
Hmm.
train, you develop, you grow, and you want those opportunities to see how you. Because we, as an amateur, you work your way up, you hit the big time, get your pro card. But then when you become a pro, you have to kind of start back to the
Hmm.
bottom again. We have here my man, heard that we should get an interview with. My man KL the Wanderer, he says, "Good morning, good morning to your brother. Thank you
Good
for coming
morning.
through." And it's just amazing story about what you've been through in your life, and a lot of people would have been broken by it, but you really, how the best way to say it, you really triumphed over adversity to get to where you get here now.
Thank you.
No, ma'am, this is the quote my favorite movie, Batman Begins. No, ever thank me. You never have to. That's why I do this, to give y'all ladies opportunity to share your story that most people need to hear. Most people look at bodybuilding like this: you're just a bunch of big muscular freaks. You just take some steroids and da, da, da. But there's more to it. The following the diet, consistency, the workout, the training, the patience, the persistence that's involved in bodybuilding. Most people every day won't be able to do this. We have here Red Samurai Ninja. He says, "Hello, Sumaiya."
Hello.
Hello. He's a new one here. So, folks, while we got her here, what we'll do, we're going to jump in her social media for a bit, going to jump into IG. If you're interested in following her, reach out with general interests. She's also a coach and trainer, somebody who wants interest in working with her. If it's just for health or fitness or whatever, let her know. But guys, and it's no offense to you, Smile, I say this because guys, no strange stuff. I know she's a pretty girl. She has a husband. I've seen the dude. He's a big dude. Be respectful. Be respectful. I don't want to hear he's a brother too. And we love our women. We fight for you. We fight to prove our love. So we're gonna jump in here in her social media for a little bit. And here it is. And here she is with one of her clients. And she just did a show. As you know, the universe is this weekend. You have any clients competing this weekend?
No, not this weekend. We decided to have her kind of go into an improvement season
All right.
and then go next year.
And who is she and what division she's in?
Her name is Yandy. She's 45 years old, mom of 3 kids, healthcare, really dedicated individual. So happy that she chose me to be her coach. And we're just going to grow. That way, when we go back on stage, we can go for the pro card and then do Masters Olympia, God willing.
Oh yeah, and Master Olympia is that's coming up next month. Qualification you have to be 40 plus. She's 45, so she's be able to do the 40 plus. And what's
Mhm.
division she's in?
She's in fit model.
I just excuse me. I sorry, no offense to her. I'm just not a fan of the division. I just but you know
This
what?
was her very first show.
I know, but I'm just not a fan of it. I feel like it's supposed to be a throwback to bikini. But some of these women now, if you look at it now, it won't be long for it looks like what bikini is now. But she's impressive. I mean, 45, 3 kids, and still doing what she's doing. I mean, and you as a coach in the corner. Yeah, you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah,
So
this
how
is
long?
her first time, so she's going to get even better, you know.
Yeah. So how long you been a coach?
I have been helping women since 2018,
That's
but
cool.
I
Yeah.
recently started coaching athletes. Before that, it was more lifestyle clients, but now I'm helping athletes.
Now here she is at her debut in Europe Pro. Wow. Oh
Mhm.
wow. Now, what was your placing at the show?
I actually did not place on top 10, and that's why I'm
Uh,
currently in my health phase, and then we're going to get into like a building phase. My feedback was if I come in leaner, I would be able to place on the top 10, but my coach and I decided we don't want to just aim for top 10. Next time we get on stage, we want to just win and go to Olympia. So this is better long term to just take the time off, grow, and then come back to redeem myself.
that's smart because there's one thing you want to take the time because this is what people have told me. Bodybuilding is not a race; it's a marathon. You need the
Mhm.
time to grow, develop, to understand the process, and also, the judging feedback. A lot of competitors, take it as a gospel. Some don't as much, but it helps in your process to see those things that maybe your coach didn't see or you didn't see.
Mhm.
So when you're working out, what's your day like? What's training like for a wellness pro?
So for a long time, I was doing 3 leg days and 2 upper body days. Recently, actually starting this week, my training days got lowered. So I train 2 days on, 2 days off, and repeat.
Mhm. And it's no leg day. That's I think most bodybuilders don't like leg day. Yeah, if I have talked to unless you are a masochist, you have to love leg day. But for y'all wellness girls, it's important for your process because you have to develop the calves, the quads, the
Glutes.
abductors, the
Yeah.
glutes, everything to build that overall great look. Especially how right here is just a little video from her post the show and you know it's wow. I mean, like I said again, you know, I mean, I mean, just the development, the time it takes,
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. I kind of design everything for my day, for my week around it. And it's been a long time to be able to get to this point. And when I started out in 2018, I literally was working at a gym, front desk, minimum wage. And I started working at that gym just so I have access to the gym to work out. I was living with roommates in a room somewhere. That way I can like walk. I remember I would work my way up to that from being a front desk to I became assistant manager. They sent me to different locations and I would do closing shift some days, opening shift some days. My schedule was all over the place. You'll see me like going everywhere with my meals, my gallon of water, closing the gym at 10, 11, and then walking over to a 24-hour gym. I won't even get home till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then sleep for a little bit and do it all over again. So I have been paying my homage to be able to have the schedule I have now. To I know how extremely blessed I am to be able to train every day and plan my days and things like that and coach all these amazing clients. So yeah, lifestyle, everything was meticulous and planned. And I'm a very big believer of the big term picture and God and universe, whatever you believe in, just have faith and take steps that are meticulous, look at the bigger picture, and things kind of fall into place.
yeah, pretty much like a wash, rinse, and repeat. Just
Yep.
that's one thing about bodybuilding. You have to be consistent. You have to stay even if it's boring. It's the important part of the process to stay focused, keep your goals going, keep training, to do the things that most people wouldn't find as interesting. But that's the thing about bodybuilding. It's just a sport where not everybody can do what to do. Like as you know, recently we're dealing with heard that the great legendary Roddy Coleman is going through some medical issues. He said like this,
Mhm.
everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. but no one lifts his heavy ass weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got here some comments from my man. Here's my man. My man Red Samurai says, "How are you? We're doing fine, brother. Thank
Yeah.
you." And he said, "Nice." He says he likes the pictures.
Mhm.
The guys they like the pictures because they like y'all ladies. And also, this is from a man here. Says, "Andy, don't look too bad. She don't. I mean, she look impressive." Also, he says, Yandy's yams. Hey man, come on. Yeah. And also, he
She
says
has
like
a
that. He says,
fiance too.
yeah,
So be respectful.
and he says, glutes is on point, Samaya. Oh yeah, they're on point. I mean, like I said, they're like my other guy would say, they are beautiful. So, as this process of bodybuilding, what do you think as a competitor do you need for yourself to get to that next level
You mean physique wise or overall?
overall?
What do I need to get to the next level? I need more meticulous actions. Like, right, every time, the last few preps, life hasn't been easy. I have had to tackle multiple things. And so now, the next half of the year, my focus is to get my life kind of in a routine, other areas of my life more situated. That way, when I do go into prep next time around, I can execute better because the ball game is different now. I'm playing with the big dogs. And as we saw, like, I was a big fish in a small pond, but now out in the ocean, I'm a tiny little fishy. So I have a lot of work to do.
Mhm.
Everything can be better. I always believe that everything
Mhm.
can be improved on.
Yeah, and I know with the situation with your side of the family, y'all not really in discussions. Y'all don't talk about it, but you do have your husband in your corner. How long are you together? And what's his name?
He's my fiance. We
Oh,
are actually not married. I was married to my abusive ex husband up until I believe just 2, 3 months ago. That's when the
ooh.
divorce was finalized. Um, Ben and I, we've been together since 2014. So it's about to be 11 years. But until that, we got engaged last year, last summer, actually, the 28th of June. So we've been engaged for 1 year. But I couldn't get married because my divorce wasn't finalized.
I mean, that's the thing. It's sad that my mother, she was my parents were together for 55 years, and it was
Mhm.
an abusive relationship because I saw her as a child. But they, even though they were still married, she was living her life here with us in North Carolina. He was up north in New Jersey with his own life. And we just saw recently of a young lady who was an IFBB pro bodybuilder who was murdered by her estranged husband. It's just this is what I did. No man, I know sometimes y'all ladies can make us mad. Y'all can make us you get, but then the thing is, you should be more. Hey, you know what? A woman's going to be a woman, and if a relationship doesn't work out, move on. There's so much in life. Sometimes I've never been married. I had relationships, I had relations, but not relationships.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's best to be alone. If you can't find that person that you think you can settle with, and I know Ben, he's a good man. He supports you, he loves you. Also, as you mentioned in your interview with KL, he is also competing as a bodybuilder. So, what division he's competing in? How long he's been doing it?
He did his very first show last year in November, and he's going to do another show this year, actually, end of August. He's currently prepping for a show.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I know it's tough to be a couple. It's both. Ooh, stories I've told. Sometimes yeah. Who needs the last piece of chicken breast? Who needs the last? Hey, calm down, cool. Chill. You know, but it's good that you two understand, and I think he's inspired by you because your path into bodybuilding.
Yeah, in a way, like I started taking gym more seriously because he was a power lifter and he it was kind of like our date on the weekend. We'd go to the gym together, we'll have a cheat meal, and then I'm the one who kind of fell in love with it, and I decided to compete. And he has been there over the years, but last year was when he I was finally like, you know what, do a show. So he did a show. Now he's more focused, and this year the plan is for him to get qualified again and then try for his pro card in masters. He's 40 plus. So that's when you're in households where two people are competing, decisions has to be made that way. Things are timed and we're not both in prep at the same time. We've never done that yet. I hear horror stories about that. So we're kind of taking turns.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories too. I got a good friend. I have two good friends. They're both IFBB pros. He's a men's bodybuilder, and she's a woman's, and they have a family. My man, Big Keith Williams. He's planning on competing at the Chicago Pro along with his wife
Mm.
Tina S. Williams in a couple of weeks. And it can be tough because as you know, your body goes into this deficit. You're not eating certain things that might help you, like you lower your carbs a little bit, a little less sugar. Your brain goes, all it takes is like somebody forgetting to wash a dish one day, and then y'all be street fighting. I know you're a little woman, but you can hit below the belt if you have to.
I mean, he's doing a classic physique, and I do wellness. But I think we've been through that because we've been living together since 2019. So he has been through my wellness prep in 2021, 2023. 2023 was the hardest. So by the time I did prep this time around and he did his, we kind of certain things we figured out, like we don't fight over the food because we make separate batches for each of us, and we're like, okay, this is for me, this is for you. Unless it's an emergency, we don't touch it. And when it comes to home chores, we kind of have a system going on too. Like we have a dog, so we have a dog walker middle of the day. That way my gym time is mine unless it's an emergency. Anything like dishwasher or like chores like that, I handle it. Since I work from home, I'm home more than him, and he's out working like 10 hours a day. But the only issue that we tend to have is as prep continues, we usually have to be in the gym twice a day, right? Because now we're doing fasted cardio, and later on our time with each other gets cut very little. Like it becomes like, okay, hi, good morning, little pet kiss, out the door. Come back from work, eat meal, maybe talk for 10 minutes, out the door to go to the gym. So it kind of becomes like we're so goal focused and so business focused that unless we actually put time on the calendar for each other, it's very easy for it to become like roommates.
Yeah. So they say, like, baby, I got this time to. How about we sit and have some dinner? No, no, baby, I got this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, okay. How about 2:30 p.m. next Tuesday, and we go out for lunch? I'll say, deal. Good, cool. That's the thing. Yeah, you want to still be like a couple, to be together and enjoy your time together.
Yeah.
I know quite a few competitors who have children. That's one thing you don't have to worry about because you have the dog, but dogs are since a kid. You just feed him and he's okay. We have your comment from my man KL, and he says, "What is your advice for some regular schmo wants to have a relationship with a bodybuilder, Sumaiya? What would you say for not just a guy who meets a woman like yourself and approach you and say, you know what, I don't know anything about bodybuilding, but I know something about you. I just want to say hello to you and say how you doing. What's your thoughts as a woman, a woman with muscle that's like some guys?
Are you asking what it's like for a person who does not bodybuild to date a bodybuilder?
Yeah,
That's the question.
yeah. Get your thoughts on it.
What they will be signing up for?
Yeah,
So it's going to depend on like which stages of bodybuilding that person is, right? So if it's somebody who's already a pro, who's already on prep, the amount of time and attention you're going to get from that person is going to be different versus if you're approaching a girl who is a bodybuilder but she's an amateur level. She's just starting out, or she doesn't have to diet super hard, so she has more energy. Maybe you can take her on a date and things like that on her cheat meal days. Then you'll have more of like a time from her versus if she is I don't know, 4 weeks out from a show. So I would say definitely you would need to be mindful of that, have more patience, because being hangry is a thing. Being fatigued brings out a little bit more meanness and cattiness from people, regardless of their gender. And yeah, just be supportive, communicate. It doesn't always have to be like go to the gym with her, even if you're not a bodybuilder and you're dating someone. It shows that you're supporting that person. Be understanding.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's important to be supportive, especially with somebody who's doing something as extreme as bodybuilding. Because bodybuilding is not a very, it's more of a hobby in mindset. It's a very expensive hobby compared to mainstream sports where you can make a living off of it. You know, you have a career with it. Only a very few, competitors who have the opportunity. Like one lady who I'm a fan of, I know, guys, you're gonna hate me for bringing her up because I got you because I love her. I'm a fan of her, and that is Andrea Shaw.
Oh, she's amazing.
He's so beautiful,
Yeah.
and this is a segue to because a friend of mine, and I always watch out. Eunice, she runs a company called Bad Rap, and she's a lady like herself. She's a wife. She has a business plan. She's working hard. She was at the Olympic back in 2023, and she got me this issue of Muscle Development, Andrea on the cover. And what
Oh,
makes this so beautiful, why I love the friendships I've gathered with some of you ladies in the last few years just doing this content. Andrea
she
signed it
signed
for me.
it.
Yes.
Oh.
I love it. I hug it. I call it George. But, but there's so much to this. Like, sponsorship is very important for competitors if they can get it. Are you a sponsored athlete right now?
I'm part of like multiple affiliate programs, but not sponsored yet.
Because back in the day, I know some ladies that used to be you had sponsorship. It takes care of the cost of your
Mm.
travel, free show expenses, like when you go to motels, and for y'all ladies, it costs you more for prep doing before the show compared to the guys where all you got to wear is a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. Yeah, that's true. That's all they got. The tanning, banana hams. If you have hair, all you got to do is like, hey, shave it or just put a little mousse in and walk on stage. But for y'all ladies, y'all have to bring this presentation of muscle and femininity, especially in division like wellness, where some of y'all ladies are very well defined, very well built, but it's about that stage look,
Mm.
your hair. Like right now, she's a lovely lady right now. I mean, wow, but and the expense of your suits right there. That could be your rent, your car note, hair, your makeup,
Yeah.
shoes, because y'all you're in the high heels divisions. I mean, I wish like any other sport, I wish there was more compensation for the athletes.
I mean, they have been increasing the payouts in big shows. I'm grateful for that. I mean,
Well,
compared to the male divisions, yes, the female divisions are a little bit less.
yeah, like I said, I
But
talk
change
about
is
this.
coming. I like to be positive. I like to look at the bright side.
Well, I like to be positive too, but as you know, I am an agent of chaos, and sometimes I have to be aware of my surroundings at all times. And I think one thing we all know, I'm gonna say it like this: the men's divisions, like men's open, classic, they're the bottom bitches. They're the ones who get the money and attention. Sorry, Arnold just shoot up the men's open for next year's Olympia for $750,000. Right there,
Yeah.
that's enough to pay for the rest of more than the next 4 or 5 seasons for a bodybuilder. But I know ladies who told me that they don't do it because of the money. They do it because the passion they have for the sport, how much they love competing, how much they love to be on the stage.
Yeah, for me, I just love helping people and like leading by example and inspiring. And it's more like everything that I am and everything that I'm becoming is thanks to bodybuilding. I wasn't taught how to manage my anxiety, my depression, my mental health issues, how to make goals and take steps or any of that. Discipline, consistency, everything I think I learned from the gym because I continuously did the things that I thought were difficult, and it helped me bring up my self confidence. And now, like since New York Pro is when for the first time I'm starting to speak up more. I'm starting to show up at events and not stay at home and just like hide myself because I didn't feel safe or had anxiety, and all this is thanks to bodybuilding. So, money or no money, as long as God allows me to do this until it's time for me to retire, I'm going to do this. And I believe even though there may not be as much of like a big prize money at the end of each show, there are ways to make money. When you love what you do, the money comes. Like I coach people, I do YouTube, I do a lot of like affiliate. Is it as much money as they pay? No, but I love what I do.
Hmm. I understand. I think there are other ways to make money, but I don't think it's something you want to do. And I know ladies who do it because it's the way to help pay for their prep and their training, everything involved with it. Because you know, it's just there's a like I said, there's a fetish to it. Because I mean, my crime, I am a muscle person. I think finding a lady is very, very, very appealing. But doing this content, I get to learn what drives anybody to do the sport. I've talked to ladies who have done with trauma and abuse in the past themselves. Some who just were very athletic and they're maybe because of injury or something, they got into sport because they wanted to still feel that need to be an athlete and to still compete. We have here a comment from my man KL Shot Dean says, you're better off going out with an amateur, George. It's about the same. It's just about the same, different attitude, but about the same, brother, no matter who. And also, he says, if you wouldn't bodybuilding, what would you think you would be doing? So, what would be in your life if you wasn't a bodybuilder?
I'm not just a bodybuilder. Let's just start off by saying that my brand is me, Sumaiya Sarwar. Now, what would I be doing? I don't know. I don't share all my secrets. I have things cooking, I have plans, and everything is coming together. So bodybuilding, yes, I'm bodybuilding, but I'm not just bodybuilding per se. I'm a creative individual. I do other things, posing, dancing, singing, writing. I majored in creative, like I went to school wanting to become a creative writer. Spoken words, like things like that are my words, the way I think, the way I verbalize what I'm thinking. That's one of my gifts as well, I like to believe. So the possibilities are endless. And I can't say what I would be doing when I'm not bodybuilding and when that would be 5 years, 10 years.
Well, as long as you determine to do what you right now, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I think everybody sometimes had that time where, what, I just saw recently uh, a female bodybuilder I follow. She announced her retirement after so many years competing. Others sometimes keep going because they feel like that they want to achieve more, especially
Mm.
as your IB Pro, you want to shoot for one of the biggest shows. Like with your division, you can go to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. That is, you got to
Mhm.
get an invitation for that one, but they possibly, you never put your name in. It never happened. And also the biggest stage of all time for bodybuilding, that is the Olympia,
Mhm.
where the opportunity to rub shoulders with the best of the best, because you were at the New York Pro. What was that feeling back there on stage and being there? Because I know I saw a picture with you later, I met a while ago, Melissa Guerrero. Y'all were standing together.
Mhm.
And what's that feeling like being there? Being around people like Steve Weinberger and so many legends in that sport of bodybuilding.
I mean, I have been around Steve for years. He's amazing. I go train at Bev's gym here and there. Now I take some of my athletes there as well. So that wasn't new. And that venue is where I did my very first show. And my second wellness show in 2021 was there also. So I'm familiar with the venue. I've been on that stage before. The only difference was that now it was with the pros. So, yeah, what set it apart was the environment and the vibe and how welcomed I felt at the pro stage. It just made me feel calm and it went by really fast because a little bit of backstory is that my prep to New York Pro did not go smooth. And last year was very difficult for me. The last 2 years, let's just put it that way, like me going into the show. So right before I started prep, my dog had died, and that same year, my fiance's
Oh,
grandma had also died. So we had two deaths, and in the I was living back with my parents because him and I kind of fell apart. We started going to couples therapy. So me coming back from winning NPC nationals, we broke up. We kind of took a break and I moved out. Um, moved back in with my parents. The whole last year was very like up and down, in uncertainty, what's going to happen to our relationship. And then two deaths and going to therapy. It's like either get engaged or leave each other alone. So with all of these, and then he started prepping for his show, right? When I'm still not fully like living here yet. So it was hard. And I left the coach I was working with who helped me get my pro card, started with somebody new from a whole different country. That I've been in prep for New York Pro since October of last year. And the show was until May. So my body hit a plateau and I lost a lot of muscle. It's not healthy to be at 1,200, 1,500 calories for this many months. Plus, I'm still training heavy, things like that. So, few weeks out from the show, I switched to a different coach and I joined Team Ludacris. He pretty much helped me drop 10 pounds. I had gone to Steve 5 weeks out. I was like, Steve, this is how I'm looking. I'm not ready. He's like, yes, you're not ready. You need to do this show. And he was like, are you going to back off? I'm like, no, I told you my pro debut will be New York Pro. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it work. He's like, you need to drop like at least like 10 pounds to not embarrass yourself on stage. So I started with a new coach 2.5 weeks out. In those last 17 days, 20 days is when I dropped 10 pounds. That was the hardest thing I have done ever in my life. I was eating 700 calories. I was burning like 500 calories in the morning just from fasted cardio on the Stairmaster, plus training every single day for 2.5 hours. I really don't know how I survived. Plus, I was doing like, I started working with my posing coach from Brazil, 40 minutes of posing practice daily. I literally like ate, slept, breathed bodybuilding. My goal was not to embarrass myself on that stage. So by the time I got to that stage, I already knew I had done everything in my power to get on that stage at that point. I knew it wasn't my best package and I knew I wasn't going to be on top 10. But my at least I'm proud of myself because I emptied my bucket and I kept the promise. That's why that experience, yes, I was disappointed. No one wants to get on a stage wanting to place last. But despite how difficult things have been, I showed up. And for that in itself, I take it as a win. But now a different level of fire has been lit in me. That's why, like this year, my focus, my drive, everything is different.
Mm. To quote my other guy, what doesn't make you stranger makes you stronger. And you have been through a lot, my dear. Chaos and anarchy has rolled around your life, but you are able to stand high on top of that. I'm sorry about him. He's a
No, 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 no. It's okay. It's funny.
but yeah, I'm telling you, that is a lot, especially someone so young, so much focused and determined. That's what you need from bodybuilding, to be focused and determined, because things can happen in life, like your fiance losing the dog, the death of his grandma. Just I know ladies who deal with injuries. Some women got sick. I know a lady who she was prepping for a show. She got sick, but she still mustered up and did another show. You
Mhm.
just have to find that courage to quote. I love quoting movies, young lady. My favorite is not my favorite movie, but I love the quote from this movie, Rocky Balboa. When Rocky telling his son, life's not sunshine and rainbows. It will beat you down no matter how much. But it's not about how much you can hit, it's how much you take the hits and keep
Keep getting
moving
back
forward. Yeah, keep moving forward. Um, my man says, the last shall be first.
up.
It's a little Bible verse there. So, in one thing I like to ask you ladies, because I'm a fat guy. I like food. Tell me, Sumaiya, what is that thing, especially after that long prep? Just telling your body that you can't eat this and can't eat that because we got to go to the show. We got to make it. You want to be there for Steve. Shout out to Steve Weinberg. I'm a fan of his wife, Beth Francis. She changed the sport of bodybuilding. What was that thing that you desired the most, my dear? That thing that you wanted to, the thing you wanted to eat?
Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about food. I
Interesting.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did, like, after the show, I had 3 free meals and then I got into my reverse diet. The first thing was like we just went to the bar and kind of like had finger foods like mozzarella sticks, some pizza, like little something. And then we went back to finals. And after that, we went to Colombian steakhouse. I love Spanish food. So it was like chicharron and like different kind of like meats, like picada and rice and beans and empanadas, like little that. And the next morning we went and had breakfast food. I love breakfast food too. So we had omelet, like, pancake, French toast, and we just like kind of like shared it. And that was it. After that, I got back home and got back on my regular reverse diet.
That's so creepy. Y'all share food together. I don't know. I want to share food with a woman. Y'all women, y'all be like, "Hey, baby, can I have that?" And he say, you eat at his plate. Say, if you try, hey, you fight him. But that's good because you know what? Food is the important part of the process of bodybuilding. It's about the right foods. I mean, not everybody like one of my favorite foods is Chinese food. It's a buffet place the next town over, and I'm a Chinese loving whore. I can't help it. It tastes so good. But I've been pretty good because I got to understand. I've been through obesity. I was taking care of my mom for the last 5 6 years,
Mm,
and I wasn't taking care of myself. And then I've already have a pacemaker because I had a heart attack 10 years ago. I have other issues, but she was my woman, and I needed to do that. You step up for her. But when she passed, I didn't have that responsibility anymore, and now I have to take care of myself. At one point, I was just teetering at 500 pounds. Now I'm sitting at 405. It's tough, and, especially I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You never heard of him? He's a professional wrestler from back in the day. He's one of my favorites. He's just wear knee braces and he wrestled. But
mm,
in this process, battling obesity, battling other stuff in your family, and in fact, especially coming from a non-traditional country of what people might see as of a healthy sport,
mm.
bodybuilding, but to find your way and to find something that you enjoy doing, it's your reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really grateful, and I think backtracking to the food that you were explaining, like how it was a source of comfort, right? So for me, it was the same way. That's why even being able to be like, you know what, food is going to be there, but how else can I find the comfort that food brings me? Because I struggled with addiction on and off. Now, this is not something like I openly talk about. In a way, I guess the gym became my addiction, but I've been able to turn it into something that is not like a bad addiction, I guess. But like when I was younger, I used to bartend. So I've been around alcohol and I would drink. And then I did what most young people do, smoke a little weed and go party, then go to the gym here and there. Once I stepped away from those things, it became food. And I did put on some weight. When you start coming out from your survival mode, food scarcity is real too. Coming to America, my mom still works in Popeyes. There, I've seen poverty. Like we were pretty well off back home, but here we lived in basement, and there would be roaches. There would be no food. We'll wait for my mom to bring food from Popeyes after her closing shift, and that's what I would eat. So you'd eat and stuff yourself till you can't no more because that's food. And I've been through all that, and I for a long time like food was my comfort, whether that be not feeling loved or not feeling like good enough or whatever it may be. And every time after the bodybuilding show, when that goal is completed and there's a little bit of uncertainty, and there's no reason for me to per se like stick to a diet for the next 16 weeks because nobody's going to see me get on a stage, those tendencies would resurface. So it made me kind of look inward and be like, okay, I'm feeling lonely. So instead of like stuffing my face in this tub of ice cream, maybe I hit up my brother and be like, hey, you want to go for a walk somewhere? But that's how it kind of started out. But then little by little, I learned to enjoy my own company. That's why I'm very like protective when it comes to who and what has access to me. But that's been one of the biggest thing that also bodybuilding has taught me. It all kind of like ties together. So yes, I'm not saying I don't like food and I don't crave food. I do. I'm human being. Like I'm literally supposed to have a cheat meal maybe today or tomorrow. I don't know. Sometime I get it like twice a month now. Even though I'm like in reverse dieting. But what I'm trying to say is I don't seek out those vices as much. I don't seek out the food or the drugs or the alcohol or I don't know, even for some people it's sex, those things to make yourself feel better. I look for more of the root and how I can solve it. And that's been a healthy mind shift that bodybuilding has helped me figure out. I'm
This
still
is
figuring it out, but it's better.
this is why I enjoy this process because the interviews I've done, I get to see pieces of myself in some of you ladies. And because myself, I didn't work well, I worked in the club. It was is it the technical term of it was a gentleman's club, but down here in the hood, it's the booty club. And I never been a drinker. I used to work at a gas station. I stock beer, so like I never had a taste for alcohol or drugs like that, like weed. I know people that have done that, but yeah, I can understand the food thing is a comfort because especially when it tastes good. My family been poor because we lived in a house where we didn't have running water, and
Mhm.
sometimes it was colder outside than it was inside. We had to deal with rats every time because we lived next to a field. My family were sharecroppers, and we had to work for other people's land, and that's how my parents had to make their living. And they had at least, count on me, my brothers and sisters, 6 kids plus my sister had 2 kids, so there was 8 kids altogether living in one house. I can tell you the struggles of it. It's been hard up. I mean, it's tough. But then finding the sport bodybuilding, which is a new passion for you, that fuels you, that keeps you going. I know ladies have told me that this sport saved their lives because the
Mhm.
stuff they've been through, maybe through physical abuse, mental abuse, just life's hardships, addictions. Bodybuilding, even though there's so much stream to it, it always gets that point finger because you're on steroids. You can't build that much muscle that way. But I say this is what I learned from you. Tell me, it's only a small factor, of building a body. If you don't follow your diet, you don't stay consistent, you don't stay persistent. You can take all the stuff you can get, Anavar, tests, Tonaball, whatever. If you don't follow whatever your coach gives you, and you're still with Team Ludacris,
Yeah.
yeah, move, bitch, get out, man. I'm gonna put that in when I tag this later. Yeah, I got to. But it's good that you found something for yourself, and I can understand want to be with yourself. Sometimes there's an old song, I can do bad by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
it's just a piece of the puzzle, like you mentioned. The enhancement is just a piece of the puzzle. The way I like to think about it is like it's what's happening here, and then the body all comes together, right? Like you're not able to follow the meal plan or lift heavy, even though you know how hard the leg workout is going to be, and you do that again and again and again if you're not mentally strong or right, like what's stopping me from walking to the store and buying a big piece of cake or even a whole cake and eating it by myself? No one's stopping me, right? And then when it comes to posing, I believe what's in our heart that shines through, at least for us females, because it's not just it's a presence, it's a light. We show up on the stage. I don't know about other people, like that's how I feel when I'm on stage. Like I'm bearing my soul. It's not just like doing the little turn and little hair flip and little smile. It's more than that. The way it's a combination of the masculine side of me and the feminine side of me, and it's like yin and yang, and I love that. Right,
Yeah.
it keeps me in check. It keeps me from being leaning just too much into one side of myself. And then the body is like the bonus. Yes, we train and everything for the body, but the body is what people get to see. People don't get to see what's in your head, what's in your mindset, or what's in your heart.
Yeah. I understand being masculine myself, and sometimes I have a little femininity every now and then, but not too much because you'd be looking funny and like, yeah, you come say, come sa. Yeah, because that's about overall about any athlete. You have to find that fine edge of what you want to be as an
Mhm.
athlete, as a woman, as a business person, your goals, what you want to complete in this sport. You only have a short time in this world, but you
Yeah.
should try to achieve as much as you can. We got here a comment from my man KL. He says, beware of Popeyes. I don't eat Popeyes like that. I mean, I prefer
Yeah.
KFC. I prefer KFC, but there's a little place around here. It's a little gas station. You do chicken. I don't go there much anymore like I used to. But yeah.
Mhm.
So when you're working out, what's that workout you say? Oh my God, I love it. It makes me feel so good. And I would say, bam, I don't want to do that shit.
You mean which exercise?
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. I would say RDL. I love it. Any form of RDL.
For those who don't know who or RDL is, please explain for us. A lot of these guys, they're more fans of women muscle not about this. They say, what's RDL?
It's a hamstring or glute focused deadlift. It could be dumbbell, cable, barbell, anything. Because for a long time, I could not connect to my hamstrings, like no matter what I did. It would be all quads because I was used to doing sumo deadlifts so much. That's how my quads grew. So once I kind of like figured out the mechanical part of it, now I just love it. I love doing that.
You love it. And what's that one you say, damn, I don't want to do this shit?
Uh, hip thrust.
The one with the bar, you go, huh, huh. Well, there's somebody sent me a video of workouts you shouldn't be doing eye to eye to, and I think I might have sent it to you. I might send it to you, but also there's this one good hamstring workout. It's done by Jay Cutler. If I find that, I sent it to you later. You might want to check it out on CGIG. But yeah, that's the thing about being a bodybuilder. You have to work on your strengths as much as your weaknesses. If you can if you improve the your weaknesses and also strengthen your strengths, you're overall better athlete. One thing you might be better at one thing, another, and another. And the posing thing, you have to, because with y'all girls in wellness, y'all got to do this, the little posing. Not, I mean, But instead of like this, we who follow the sport, who go to the shows, who watch y'all on the stage, these beautiful, amazing bodies, great conditioning, we don't understand and see what you have to go through. Tired, dehydration, starvation, consistency, the work that's involved with it. We see these beautiful bodies and stages out there, and I know your man, he's proud of you. Say, yeah, it's my baby. Yeah, she's looking great. And then some guy says, hey, yeah, your grade look great. She got a booty on her. Hey, man, but it's good that you found what you want out of the sport. That's the point thing. You get what you out of it, the more than you. Like there's an old movie called Players Club. Make the money, don't make the money make you.
Mhm.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
have here my man Bill. I think it's him for a while. He says she has a great definition, lovely dark hair, best of luck in the bodybuilder industry. Hi, George. Hi there, Bill. I ain't seen you in a long time. Yeah, good to hear. So we're not going to hold her much too long. I hear the dog bark in the background. He might even want to go out and run a little bit. We appreciate the time that I get with any of you ladies, especially I get my hands on a wellness girl. I'm gonna get into often. You're like, say, I used to work in the booty club, your division kind of particularly get my interest a little more. But I respect you as a competitor, as a woman, as an athlete. That's why I have this channel. Give a voice to people, especially for someone who's not from a country that's not very traditional by the idea of bodybuilding. But you found what you out for. You found yourself what you out of it, and you can, depending on it, you can make a great living for it.
Yeah, I'm very grateful, and I'm getting a lot more women that are from like Muslim community or South Asian or for conservative backgrounds that are actually coming to me for coaching and or for advice, and that's really inspiring to be able to share my experience and give a few cents and few pointers about what I'm learning. But there's always that fear of judgment. I have learned to kind of like have a thick skin, but there were times when I would receive like death threats on social media or comments like, oh, why don't you go drink poison and kill yourself, from like my own family members and things like that, because of what I'm doing. And like, honor killing is a very true thing that unfortunately still goes on in different parts of the world. So, me doing this, me choosing to put my story and myself out there, is to inspire others. And I'm kind of looking at it like, somebody needs to talk about this, somebody needs to try it, and why not me? So, I'll take that chance.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. We call those haters. And if you, like I said, and here's one thing: as a man, I have no reason to hate on a woman. So if any man hate on a female, something about you, you got some sugar in your tank. And I understand with countries like, I talk to ladies who live in countries like, I knew a lady from countries like Singapore, Thailand, a lady from Hong Kong, Mexico, which is a very traditionally masculine country.
Mhm.
Machismo. It's just people. I think if people don't understand something about something, you know, it's something that maybe, especially when you're a woman developing muscle. It's like even here in the States, like I'm like doing even ways in divisions like bodybuilding, figure, even physique, even bikini competitors. You get this stank eye because you're building your body not what's traditionally feminine. How some women are long, silky. Some women got built like like a Coke bottle, but y'all ladies have beautiful shapes. You're maybe not the everyday beauty of everybody else's idea, but you are who you want to be. And to quote one of my favorite comedians, Bernie Mac, you ever heard of him? He said like this: "Boy, if people don't like who you are, fuck them." Because that thing is, you're not going to make nobody happy, but you only make yourself happy.
One thing I say as a joke is that I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's favorite protein shake.
Well, I know your band's favorite protein shake. Yeah. I wouldn't mind shaking it, Ben. Respectfully, Ben, because she's sure. Like I'm from the South, lady, and madam, I will tell you all pretty woman. That's why I'm gonna tell
Where are
you
you
that.
from?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Never been there.
Yeah, it's still every. They do have a show, the Charlotte Pro. It did, I think they do have wellness and also other shows. I would say, once your season get a little better and once you feel like you're ready, come down south. There's some quite a few shows. There's a show coming up, Tampa Bay Pro, one of the biggest shows that's
Mhm.
promoted by Tim Gardner. So I think with wellness, you'll have more divisions compared to women's body and physique. But there's opportunity. Shout out to my dear girl Deanna, the Dorian Hammer says religion judgment is the worst. Yes, because especially coming from the descendant of slaves, religion was used as a hammer which held us down, telling us, oh, this is in the Bible, but then not doing the word of God. I'm not a church going person. I haven't gone since my mom passed. I have faith. That's the difference. People use religion to twist and to use for their advantage and use it as a hammer. Right now, what's going on, I know you get political stuff, as he said, but what's going on in this country is being used as a hammer and it holds back people from opportunities.
Mhm.
It's nice to have it, but you know what? It gets in the way where there's opportunities to serve you better. But like I said again, I would say, you ladies, I respect what y'all do. I'd say I'm not a big fan of all the divisions,
Mhm.
especially, excuse me, fit model, but I am a fan of anybody who gets into something that is very tough, regimental, to understand the factors of growing as not just an athlete, but also as a person. You have to really have determination, strength to do what y'all do.
Thank you.
The quote again, my man, The Dark Knight, you never have to. That's why I do this. So one thing I wish that could help, especially is, you get yourself a plan. You know what? Sponsorship could help. I mean, but here's the thing. You got to be careful out there. You got to be careful out there. Somebody say, you got some guys say, yeah. I see your pictures. You're cute little thing. If I do something for you, no, stop that. You're sick freak. This is a
Now, I've
loving
been
lady.
getting those messages for years. I already know what to look out for when it comes to scammers and things
That's
like that.
that's good. This is one also quote from my favorite movie. Beware surrounds at all times, young lady. Never give sure footing for a killing blow. And that's good. But this is what if I was somebody who had a real plan, who told your story, Miss Sarwar, we are so interested in you, your story, what you've been through, your plan, your determination, your confidence. We are a company interested in uplifting people, and especially athletes. So if you are willing to be part of our company, be an ambassador, if it's something that a product that works with you in your process as a bodybuilder and a trainer and a coach, we'd like to be part of it. But just want to let you know, you have to be certain that you want to be part of this. If not, then we will not hold you back. We will let you go on your way. But just let you know how you feel, how comfortable you feel with us.
Hmm. Of course, I'm open to it. I'm actively searching. I am
Well,
part of like affiliate programs, but currently I'm not sponsored by anyone. But that is what I'm working on. I was kind of hiding under a rock, tackling life and things like that, even after my pro card win. So the New York Pro is what was kind of like my introduction to the world in a way. I did appear on RX Muscle podcast after my pro card win, but because I was going through a lot of things in life, I didn't really put myself out there. But this year, like now moving forward, is when I am actively showing up for myself and to the world, to all these opportunities. So the right match, I will definitely take them up on that offer.
yeah. RX Memphis that's run by Dave Jumbo Palumbo. I know some people know him well. He's a great guy. Some of his stuff on bodybuilding can be a little bit archaic, but still he understands the sport. But folks, we have here a comment from a man Joshua Simkins coming through. He says, "What's good? What's good, brother? Thank you for coming through." And yeah, you know what? You have your head on your shoulders. That's the most important part about it. You have a realistic plan what you want to get out of bodybuilding for yourself. What would you say to somebody if you could talk to yourself years ago and tell yourself what was coming for you in your life? What would you say?
Be kinder to yourself. Yeah. I have a really high standard for myself. And sometimes I just don't give myself any credit. So that's one advice I'll give myself. Like 10 years ago, even like 15 years ago, when I had just came back from leaving my abusive ex-husband, I had no idea about bodybuilding. I used to just go to the gym, walk on the treadmill, and starve myself because I wanted to continue to be 95 pound and fit into double zero. So, so I was more focused on fitting into the mold that other people had created for me. And sometimes I would take it out on myself and I would be so hard on myself because I'm receiving cruelty from others or from the world. Now I don't do that anymore. I give the love. I'm my biggest cheerleader. Somebody says something rude or something like, I don't get into an altercation. I'm a very calm, chill person, but I have no problem setting boundary. My peace is my priority. I'm creating the life that I'm really going to enjoy living, right? And sometimes it kind of takes us away from being patient or like giving ourselves the kindness and patience and all that. So I just tell myself, like, take care of yourself, girl. Be kind to yourself. You have a whole life ahead of you. You have no idea what's coming. But your better days are in front of you. They're not behind you.
You go, girl.
Yeah,
You
pretty much.
got
You
to.
have to
You
with
got
a
to.
snap and everything.
Like this. You know what? If you don't toot your own
Just
horn, no one,
snap
no one
your
else will. You don't toot your own horn, no one else will.
Mm.
Like one of my favorite back in the game was Triple H. The game says, "I am the game, and I am that damn good." That's what you need to say. Next time you're on the stage, "I am the game, I am that damn good." That's when you confidence. There's a difference between confidence and being conceited. When you know your shit, when you understand what is involved in being whatever you want to be, that's good.
Mm.
And understanding that it took you a long ways to get there.
Yeah.
And people like your boyfriend being in your corner, Team Ludacris, everybody else who's people like Yandy who you're helping, that is much appreciated. Those are points towards your future. It's something I think anybody, this is why I do this, because you know what, people, my man asked me, say, why you do this? Because this gives me a purpose. Because this was helping me when I was taking care of my mom. Because
Mm.
because I was a fan of Bobby for a long time. Like as I said again, my comment must have heard smell, but doing this content, doing these interviews, and talking about you ladies, and also understanding what it is to be a bodybuilder. I have guys on here before too, and some of you guys told me stories about how the way they go through. And what you go through is something, if you got again, guys, if you want to watch her video with KL, you can watch it, scripts, looking scripts. She really tells some more detail about what she went through. But anybody who's been what you gone through, and you're still here and you're still standing, God has a plan for you. He
Yeah.
does. Yeah. So,
Thank you. I
so
believe that. I
yeah.
believe that.
You should. You should. So, folks, we are not gonna hold this lovely lady much longer. I know she's busy. She got things she got to do. Holidays coming up, folks. All bodybuilders. I know you can't be eating that barbecue. You can't be touching that hot dogs. If you're like, I know. So there's, as you know, the universe is this weekend. My man KO, he says he's gonna go there, check it out. I'm not watching because, like I said, I got plans. I can't be spending too much money. It's first of the month for me. Just gotta pay my rent, my light bill. I'm broke. I gotta pay Peter. I gotta pay Peter. I gotta steal a Paul to pay Peter. That's like bodybuilders. Y'all got to do that same too. But you have anybody other than you want to really say a shout out to and show respect to while you're here?
Honestly, just it's hard to pick one person. I'm building my team. I have a lot of friends and supporting me, and people at the gym, people that I'm meeting like you. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for everything that's coming my way and everyone that's been believing in me all these years. So thanks to everyone.
Well, that's appreciate, young lady. I think you, me ladies I talk to, you're one of those ladies who really have a good head on your shoulders. You have a goal, you focus on it, and keep on going. You are within realistic of what you have capable of doing. Some might go past the reality, but the thing is, it never hurts every now and then. But I will say this: I'm gonna wish you all the best of luck. I mean, whatever you do, I may not pay too much attention to wellness, but I will be more aware. I got a friend. She's a wellness competitor. She's made a debut last year. She was doing bodybuilding and physique before she got into wellness. She's a really cool lady. And I know cool ladies who have also done sport before, but eventually they switched over back because
Mhm.
it's about what fits for your body aesthetically. It's tough because you know what, you got to do 3 leg days a day. You say, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'll take 1 leg day a day. I can't do 3. Nah. And nah. I'm good. I'm just gonna work on the upper body. That's it. But this is your process. This is your life. And this is what you want out of it. And whatever you want out of it, you deserve it.
I also help women and not just the wellness competitors, lifestyle, everyday women. I know you don't like fit model, but anybody who wants to start out, whether that be fit model, bikini, wellness, those are the three that I help coach. But I only coach women. I also do posing for those three divisions for women in person, virtual, one on one training in Queens, New York, Long Island, New York City. Like I do travel. And you guys can all like find me on my website www.sumaiyasarwar.me, or I'm pretty sure he's going to put my Instagram there too. All my links are there. I'm pretty friendly. I'm very approachable. So reach out to me and I would love to help you all.
Yeah. She said New York City, New York City, New York City, New York City. I don't know about New York. Y'all can't look each other in the eye. We just gotta look down when you walk in New York
I
City.
do. I do. That's why, like, I get weird looks. I'll be walking past people at the gym and I smile, and people are like, "Wait." What? I'm like, I don't know. This is the kind of person I am. Like,
Yeah.
unless I just finished a heavy set and I'm like out of breath and angry, but that has nothing to do with the person. But generally, I'm a very like happy go lucky kind of person.
Well, you would fit down here in the South, man. We're kind of friendly down here, because especially we like a party woman like yourself, man. I'm telling
I,
But
I may move. That's in the plan. I may
yeah.
move sometime next summer.
Well, like the other guy says, I don't have a plan. I'm just like a dog chasing cars. I don't know where to get one. Oh, and before I let you go, Sumaiya, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful. I get it. I can't help it. He completes me. We got here from man Ryan Lake coming through. Last minute says hello, hello, brother. Thank you for coming through. So, folks, like you said, she's a coach and trainer. She was exclusive for the ladies. Like this, my channel, I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but like this, it may not be the 80s. But I'm down with the ladies. But if you're interested in reaching out to her, not just as a competitor, maybe health, fitness stuff, wellness stuff, genuine interest only. The links on the description of the live stream. Check her out, guys. I'm going to tell you this once again. This is a lovely young lady. She looks like she could be one of my nieces. I got a niece that I got a couple of nieces that look kind of like your complexion, look like you. They're half.
Mhm.
They're one's mother's a Native American, and the other's a little bit lighter
Mhm.
skin. Guys, no, understand me. No D pics, no weird shit, no nothing. Stop it. If Ben is beating guys in the street to prove his love, then it's on you. You. Yeah. Also, one last comment that my man says, do you enjoy doing bodybuilding? So let's give one more like, wait.
Yep. It's my life. It's everything I am. Until it's time to retire, giving it my all.
Yeah, yeah, like this old cowboy movie used to get out, and the cowboy, after he takes care of all of the bad guys, he get on his horse and ride into the sunset. And that's how it is with you. You're gonna be that cowboy. You get on that horse and ride the sunset with that friendly Western smile. But ma'am, I thank you again for his time. I hope
Thank
everything
you.
the best. Best luck for Ben in his upcoming show. Wish him best of luck. He competes in, as I call it, men's figure. Yeah, come on, think about it. You look at classic physique, that's men's figure. You look at men's physique, that's bikini. So you might as well say that, whatever. Yeah, I'm always going. I know quite a few guys who I talk shit with them. We're still cool, but best of luck to him. Best of luck to you. Appreciate my guests out here. My man Bill, Ryan Lake, Joshua, my brother KL the Wanderer, Red Samurai Ninja, also Darian Hamer. Anybody who watched this video, comment, like, subscribe, follow us on social media. Also, Sumaiya's on YouTube. You can, the link in the description. Also, check her out. Maybe we can, someday you can do some live streaming, talk about your stuff a little more. I started following her because, like I said, I want to support anybody on YouTube because the algorithm is not as good if you're
Mhm.
not a certain type of division. Everybody likes to pay attention to the banana hamster boy shorts more or less to the other women, unless you're seeing the division where it gets more attention because But just reach out to enduring interest and support. So anyway, thank you again, ma'am, and best of luck
Thank
to you.
you.
You're welcome. Anyway, it's me, Alloway George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Subscribe, don't subscribe. Have a happy Independence Day tomorrow, and God bless and good luck.